Yeah, we'll be starting soon. Just waiting for my co-host. See you on the line. Let's get that copyright music out of here. What is going on, everyone? It's Wednesday night. Means it's fight night. It's ratchet night. It means it's time for serious conversation. Go elsewhere if you were looking for a good time, because our good time is fighting against each other and fighting the machine. It's Dope Dynamics. It's your boy Steve, your man Cincy, the lovely Bex, and the powerful DaVinci. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. You know, just had a little scare. Thought my wife had COVID. She took a test earlier, and it was like an hour ago when I got home. I saw that there was a second line there, and I ran upstairs with the test. I was like, "Get down here now! We can't lose you." And then everything turned out to be good. So I was able to come down, do my podcast. Hang out with you good people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting sick with COVID, but it's kind of like the flu now. You know what I mean?
Yes. Those damn liberals making up fake diseases, to hold me back from being all the conservative I can be. I agree with you, DaVinci.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here. Already with the bullshit. Damn.
I stay ready with it. It's like bang bang. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go at all times. How you doing, Cincy?
Oh man, I'm doing all right. I had a great day up until I got a message earlier that triggered the hell out of my life. Someone sent me a video of a woman making jerk chicken wings in an air fryer, and both making the jerk chicken wings in an air fryer and improperly making jerk seasoning is a sin against the ancestors. So I wasn't very happy.
I'm sorry. I didn't know jerk chicken was made in Louisiana because I thought that was a Caribbean thing. So you're on the wrong ancestor train, my brother.
No, we all come from the same place. We just ended up in different locations.
Your prayers went the wrong way. You're supposed to be praying towards down south.
Thanks. Tonight you look mad cute.
I know. Look at Bex, man. Who told you to get all dolled up?
If you got triggered, then that means my job was done correctly.
So you sent it. I knew you did from the way your face was when he started talking about it.
Oh, folks, happy Juneteenth to you beautiful people. How the hell are you? How'd you spend your Juneteenth? I was out on 42nd Street screaming at people from my podium, attacking anyone that I could that walked by me. Didn't matter that race. I was just like, we free now, man. And this is how you using your freedom? Smacking little kids, making them get real clothes. Like, man, take those leotards off. Get you some man clothes, man. Stop wearing these tight jeans. What'd you guys do?
Did you have a Bible in your hand?
Hennessy and eat watermelon by the pool and white people's faces?
I was wondering how your black card ended up in my mailbox. I was like, what the venue? No, I did not have a Bible, Bex. The only authority I needed was, you got tight pants on, you got leotards on, man. You can't come at me. Now, I will say this. These little kids, like I've said before, they packing bangers, and I'm not talking about phalluses in those tight pants. You guys hear about what happened in Chicago? Let's jump out the window right away. Did you hear what was signed into law today in the great city of Chicago?
What happened?
Oh, boy, you're going to love this one. The police are no longer allowed to chase suspects.
Oh, okay.
Now, you see, anyone that's clapping has never lived in Chicago before. I want you guys to do me a favor, right? Someone did a black man. I should start off by saying that. Thank you for the love, Carmen. Hey, yeah, I appreciate that. Pokey, what's up? I want you to go look up something for me. You don't have to do it now because I'd hate to spoil the mood because we're actually going to be talking about some other controversial shit tonight. But I want you to look up shootings between Memorial Day last year to Memorial Day this year, right? And then I want you to compare that data to shootings by officers in Chicago. And I think you might be surprised, as I was when I did the research. You're not going to like the number or lack thereof. But I leave you guys to do your own personal research. It's all public domain. If you know how to look that up, you can go to the data reports for the city of Chicago. I lived on the South Side for years, and if we're going by the rules of today's talking points, if you ain't been there, you can't talk about it. And I can tell you this right now. This was probably the worst mistake that Mayor Beetlejuice, a.k.a. Lightfoot, has ever made, man. And the crazy thing about this is, here's the craziest thing. There is no gangbanging like there is in Chicago. So before you get trying to defend these fools, Cincy, I lived in them streets. And I'm telling you right now, you're wasting your energy. Them Vice Lords, them GDs, them Black Stones, those Mickey Cobras out there, they are not playing. They are laying down entire families at funerals. Your thoughts, Cincy? I can see you got something to say.
Police chasing them aren't going to change shit.
So it's just let it happen, right? Just let it run rampant.
No, those are two different things here, because you're saying that police chasing has anything to do with them being able to stop gangs, and it doesn't at all. Like, it really doesn't.
So wait, so you're saying that police not chasing them it's not going to have any impact on how this plays out?
No.
All right. I'll see you in exactly 1 week with data that proves contrary. Because this is the thing that always cracks me up when we get into this conversation about Chicago. You know what I'm saying? About specifically Chicago. I can't, Detroit, they out there doing their thing too, man. Chicago's an evil city to its core. To its roots, it's been evil since the Irish mob had it, since the Italian mobs took it, and then when they left whatever was left to the black gangbangers there. And I lived there for 4 years, and I can tell you this right now. The only people that my heart bleeds for in Chicago is the kid that's trying to make it to and through school. without being gangbanged on. We're talking about a city where 3 gangbangers took a little kid up by the name of Mookie, shot him, and if I remember correctly, threw him off a roof. This is not a city to play around with, man. And whether you believe that the police should do something or they should intervene, I guess the data will how this plays out. Because Lightfoot isn't the first horrible mayor that Chicago has had. They've had multiple. But my heart really goes out to my family that still lives in Chicago, man. I don't fuck with y'all, but my heart really goes out to the families of Chicago, straight up and down.
Damn.
What? What's wrong?
Nothing. Just how you said it, I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, no, I mean, it's real. I got a couple of cousins out there I mess with, man. But here's the thing, right? Not all skin folk are your
Skin folk. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And not all skin folk is family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a closer bond with you fine people than I do them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them. So I just want to throw that out there. Y'all might get something in my will, but I could think of at least 36 motherfuckers that ain't getting shit. Like, if something happens. But let's get into it. Yo, Bex, you had a topic from last week, man. Did you want to jump into it? Because I actually really, really liked your topic from last week. Let me just scroll upwards to get to it, because I know Da Vinci's chomping at the bit to get to mine. So I figured, let's get to the other stuff first. Where's your topic?
Chomping at the bit? I don't.
Yes.
That doesn't track. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I'm all cool and collected. Cool as a cucumber.
Bex, where's your topic? Did you delete it? What happened?
Scroll up, honey.
God, I'm scrolling up.
There.
Where is it at? I see Amber Heard. Where the hell are you at, Bex?
It's there, Steve.
I see Da Vinci's picture of her drink.
You're too far.
I see Da Vinci Donnell TikTok. Oh, wait. No, I see Bex.
It's
She's
giving
running.
an old man, and I don't know how to use
Can
technology.
we also, while you're looking for that,
We got
just point out the fact that during police chases, whether it's Chicago or not, that especially in armed on-foot police chases, how many lives it puts in danger that have nothing to do with anyone that's involved.
Before you answer that, Steve, keep scrolling because we need to get to Bex's topic. This is like an in-between conversation.
No, I found it, but let me retort to that, man. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it with all the love in the world, my brother. You couldn't prove that this law that they passed is going to improve the state of the community, and which is the claim that they're making. If you tried, this was the dumbest thing that has ever come out. Now, I'm not saying there doesn't need to be police reform, but till you live there, you cannot know how dangerous Chicago is. And hold on, I'm going to tell you this right now, man. National Guard had to be called in to deal with the gangbangers out there. This is my point to you fine people. I love black people. I love my people. But at what point do we stop making excuses for the murderers that live right next door to us?
No, that's a real question, because I think that the black community or our community has a serial killer problem, but nobody wants to talk about that because people don't care if black people get murdered, but they do if white people get murdered. And I've been wanting to get into that for a minute. I do think that our community has a serial killer problem, and I do want to talk about that.
But first, we're gonna talk about some beautiful shit. We're talking about some beautiful shit. I'll catch you on the after show, Cincy, and we'll chop it up because I'm ready for war, man. I was thinking about getting all these gangbanger tattoos removed from me, and then Lightfoot, aka Beetlejuice, straight out of Southside Chicago, dropped that platinum bomb on us. So, all right. So Bex, drop your link here. Share the screen. Bex is always perusing the internet, finding the most interesting topics. She sends it to me in Cincy at godforsaken hours of the morning, trolling poor Cincy with air fried jerk chicken, which sounds delicious to me. But go for it, Bex. Roll it out.
For the record, it looked delicious, and I'm pretty sure it tasted delicious too. He's just a hater. But anyway, today we are talking about healing, and more specifically, healing while you're in a relationship. Um, I think that this subject is a little complicated. I thought you were gonna post the article, but never mind.
No, I'll post it. I got you. I just wanted to highlight it so you can see it.
Okay. Like the author of the article, her name is Solange Hackshaw. I do think that healing while you're in a relationship really depends on like what type of relationship it is. And I feel like the more serious the relationship gets, like the more messy the healing can get.
Okay.
I've tried to do this before numerous of times. I've tried to heal while in a relationship. Um, the guy was a big help, but there were things that I just couldn't let go of, and there were things that I like haven't gotten over yet. I couldn't get over at the time,
Mhm.
and it didn't have anything to do with him. But now that I look back on it, I feel like I was kind of like maybe like dragging him into my issues and my mess for real.
Mhm.
Um, what I really liked when I read the article was that the author, in order to like jumpstart her healing process, she wrote a letter to herself. And I thought that was like a pretty solid thing to do. I wish I would have thought of that when I was going through what I was going through. But my question to my lovely co host and the audience, do you think that healing while you're in a relationship is possible? Can it work? Do you think it would be do you think it would delay your healing process or interrupt your healing process because you can't focus on yourself first and you have to focus on another person as well?
Can I get just from your perspective, Bex? What do you mean exactly by healing process? What does that mean exactly?
What do you mean? um,
So give me an example of how what's your healing process look like?
my healing process in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, like I brought up the whole like the letter part, like first of all, you have to like realize what the issue is. I think that's the first thing. You have to assess the situation and figure out, okay, what is my problem? So that would be my first thing to figure out, okay, what is my issue? What is my problem? Now, what am I going to do to solve this issue and solve this problem?
Okay. I'm gonna let someone else chime in before I jump out.
Um, truly, I think it depends on what kind of partner that you have and if they're emotionally available and ready, or like they came into the situation knowing that you had these issues or knowing that you were working through these issues. Because like this might be like a controversial point, but like there are people who don't sign up for that when they're in a relationship with you, and it's completely within it's completely within their rights in the relationship to be like, hey, this is not what I signed up for, like, you know, hey, like this is something that I can't handle and it'll be detrimental to me at the end. And so, like, you know, I really can't continue through with this. Like, I'm firmly of that belief. So, like, if the person came into the relationship knowing that this is something that you were ready for, or going through or dealing with, and they agreed to ride shotgun on it with you, then 100%. I think that like you can heal from trauma while in a relationship, but like I completely think that it depends on the kind of partner that you have, like what they're emotionally ready to do for you, with you, all that kind of stuff like that. But yeah.
I can feel it. I can feel that. I feel that. Brother Cincy.
I kind of want to ask. I mean, I remember most of that article. I think it feels like it depends on what kind of healing are we doing. Are we healing from past relationships or healing from damage from outside relationship things?
Mm. Let me bring up the full article here. It was having some trouble.
Like when you guys are answering this, are you considering like healing from something that you may have went through while you're in school or with your family, or healing from something that happened to you in a past relationship?
I think for me personally, like if I can answer that question from both vantage points. Like for instance, if I'm coming into a relationship, looking at the way it's framed, I'm looking at any past hurts, right? Because that can be trauma from your family, that can be trauma from other relationships, and that can be trauma from friendships. Just breaking them into distinct categories. So for my answer, me personally, and it's going to be wildly unpopular, I don't think there can be any really true healing without going through a therapeutic process. And the reason that I believe that is the best approach is I think that we find ourselves going through the same cycles over and over again. We read self-help books, we read memes on the internet, your best life, blah, 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 do this, affirmations, all this type of stuff. And I would even say to the point of like, I said this to people in the church. For me personally, before I got with Mrs. Holdup, I was in therapy for a year. And I learned a lot about myself and my trauma, my defects, the things I needed to be accountable for. And I thought I had a good reign on those things, and I had started a healing process. I did learn, however, when I got into a relationship, things that I had not noticed through my therapeutic process were now being triggered, right? And now the things I had already found out and learned how to cope with, I had to use those tools in real time. I used to struggle with jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Like with jealousy to the point of like just like, yo, who you talking to? Why are you talking to him for? What you looking at, my man? Like that type of stuff. But then when I got with Mrs. Holdup, after learning so much about myself in therapy, I struggled with it at first, but I started to realize like, all right, let me allow her actions to speak louder than her words. Because even though she was saying I would never do anything like that to hurt you, other people had said the same thing and their actions didn't match up. So I started observing her actions, and I'm a huge proponent of this, man. I think that a person that is committed to you, but also the relationship, which I think is two different things. You guys tell me that like she's committed to me, but she's committed to making the relationship work, and that requires self-sacrifice. So on her part, she very much did things that would annoy her, but would help to make me feel better in certain scenarios, and vice versa, because I had to learn to deal with her hurts and all those things. So I adapted to that. And yes, there was more healing and more, I would guess it was more growth. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the biggest test of that was when I started doing recovery coach work. I told you guys about the scallywag I was with before Mrs. Holdup, and I don't wish anything bad on that young lady, but I don't wish anything good for her either. And like, here's the thing, right? I remember when I first started this job and I had to be away for like 2 weeks. And this was the first time since I came back from LA and we were living with each other that she was not in my constant sight. So it's easy to say you can trust the person when you're there. I'm picking her up from work. You're saying we're around each other every day, but now I'm outside. And I remember there was one day, here it is. I called and she didn't pick up. I called again and she didn't pick up. And my mind started racing through all the scenarios. And I think this might be a little bit harder for guys to talk about sometimes. Yo, this other girl had done me so bad, before Mrs. Holdup, like whenever she didn't pick up the phone, I could believe something was in her mouth. And I'm not talking about food. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of behavior she had. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me personally, I had to deal with the shit that was going on inside of me, because whether or not Mrs. Holdup would have been doing those things, then that means I have a bad picker. You know what I'm saying? And I keep picking the same woman over and over again. So I had to heal from that and deal with that process on my own. Thank God she wasn't out here wilding out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, how's the song go, Cynthia? Riding down the block, I believe, outside with my ratchet friends. Is that what the young lady said? The young queen?
It's something of that. That's the Christian version. But that kind of goes into a little bit of what I was thinking, because for example, I know in the chat Berlin just said he struggles with anger. That's something that you can, you still may need to reach out and probably should reach out for help with that, but it's something you can work on and heal yourself. But when we're talking about relationship related issues, jealousy or whatever it may be, a lot of the times it tends to come down to the bigger picture of trust. And even if you do some introspection to try and figure out why trust is an issue for you, you can never truly, fully heal trust issues unless you attempt to trust again, which is going to require you to get in a relationship to do that.
I agree. You have your DJ sound effect on. It's cool. I'm cool. I just realized right now. I was like, why does this motherfucking voice sound so dynamic? I agree with that. Go ahead, DaVinci.
Like I generally agree with most of what you just said there, but like I don't know, maybe hit dogs holler a little bit, but you were talking about your picker, and maybe this is the side conversation, and if it is, like, cut me off because we need to stay on topic. Jump out the window. Recently I've had a thing where like people use the like pig better as like a sort of thing to gaslight people, because like when you're saying like pig better, like people didn't they didn't act like what they're acting like now at the beginning of the relationship a lot of the time. So like that's what I have a problem with when people say, oh, you have a bad picker, or you pig better men or pig better women, and da da da. And maybe hit dogs holler. Maybe I'm hollering right now. But that just caught my ear a little bit, and I kind of wanted to address it, because there's a lot of relationships where like at the beginning, like it was all about the chase. And so they do all the things, like they open the doors, they pull out the chairs, they bring flowers, they don't dress in jeans to an expensive restaurant. All those things like that. But like, you know, and there's this thing that narcissists do. I can't remember the technical name for it. But it's like where they love bombing, where they give you a lot of everything up front, and then like as things go on, they give you less and less, and see how little they can give you, and you'll still stay. Kind of like in the gaslight conversation, where we brought up the origin of gaslighting and the play that it came from, where the husband would turn down the gaslight just a little bit every day, but he would tell the woman like, and no, it's bright, I can see the paper in here, even when they were sitting in complete darkness and everything like that. So like, I want to be really careful about like people and their pickers, because like you might have a good picker, you might pick good people or whatever, because you go based off of what they're showing you. But like, you know, maybe you try to be really understanding when they start giving you less and less, and you're thinking like, oh, maybe they don't have the emotional bandwidth to give me that today. So like, I just want to be really careful with that little picker thing, you know, and maybe I'm hollering.
No, but here's the thing. Let me quantify that, right? So there's a difference between what's popularly said on the internet, right, versus what's actually like true. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, if we were to actually bring some type of psychoanalysis to it, your picker isn't just about the person's behaviors for the first 30, 60, 90 days of the relationship. It's also about the places you frequent, right? It's about the traits that you recognize in the person. It's about your need to either not self-reflect on the type of behaviors that person had and being wary of that. And I think I get what you're saying, my sister, but at the same time, we do at some point have to take accountability if we've been in the same relationship over and over again. Like even your garden variety like social worker will tell you that. We're like, hey, this is 3 in a row. Let's talk about the environments you're spending time in. Remember, you and I were talking one night. You know, I used to love them hood women, and I was like, no more of that. No more of that.
They're still amazing. I love them, and people give them a bad reputation sometimes.
No, they give themselves a bad reputation. Give themselves a bad reputation.
Anyways.
No, what, they don't? What, you trying to tell me that ratchet people don't give themselves a bad reputation?
I think that people are quick to categorize something as ratchet or ghetto in an attempt to make Black people seem like clowns sometimes, when they're just enjoying themselves. And like, I'm not done. There's a place and a time for things. I do agree with that. And and sometimes like I do agree with you, people get out here and act a fool, but
Mhm.
like I think a lot of the times like uh, uh, especially in my experience, people are quick to say something is ghetto when like they just wouldn't pick it for themselves, or they don't want you to pick it. Like for an example, like I wear like something over my hair to work because I don't want anything to get in my hair while I'm at work. And so I might stop at the gas station, or I might stop at a food place before I go to work. One particular instance, I stopped at a Mexican restaurant right before I was going to work. And so I had my head covering on. And a gentleman walked up to me and he was like, "You know better than that." And I was like, "No better than what?" And he said, "Wearing a bonnet out in public." I was like, "I'm about to go to work and you're making assumptions about me. This is something that I wear to work. A lot of white people wear the same head covering to work. Are you just saying it to me because I'm a black woman?" And he was just like, "Oh, it's just because it's ghetto. You know what Monique said," and everything like that. Like people are quick to categorize something as ghetto when it's on black people. And I just want us to be wary of that.
No, fuck that. Because we're talking about two different things, but I'm gonna get back to the relationship shit because it ties into like the behaviors, and this is where I think we get so lost in this stuff, and where healing is not even possible. There is a level of culpability that comes with being an adult and getting into relationships, and they will tell this to a woman in a battered woman's shelter going through therapy. You are not responsible for your batterer's behavior. You are, however, responsible for your own life and safety. And a part of that training that they learn, and a part of that therapy, is learning why they make the decisions on the men that they do. And that's what I'm saying about behaviors. I'm not talking about broad generalizations. I'm talking about the type of behaviors that people have. And that's the type of shit that prevents any real type of healing. Like, for instance, if you are in a relationship and you cannot make the decision not to go out with your homegirls or your homeboys in spite of you living your best life and being on your boss queen or boss hog shit, you shouldn't be in a relationship. Because what I hear when people say that is, you are selfish, and you can be selfish, but why be in a relationship? And to the person who is with you, I would say, why would you be with a person like this if it causes you dismay? Right? If the person doesn't respect you and doesn't respect the relationship, there's no way any healing can be possible. Like you said earlier, there are people who don't even jump on board for healing in a relationship, but they will string a person along knowing full and goddamn well that's not what they're here for. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the behaviors, and people don't want to be accountable for that shit. You keep getting into these relationships. I don't care what Kevin Samuels has said. I don't care what Anton Daniels has said. Go see a therapist. Seek help.
No, 100%. I definitely do believe that everybody should at some point or another seek therapy, because like it's real traumatizing existing out here right now. Like I don't know, I don't care what anybody fucking says. If you work 40, 80 hours a week and can't even afford basic necessities or like a cool down day, it's like after a while the realization that that is your life can be very traumatizing. So I think that everybody should go see therapy, like just like what Steve said.
Yeah, get some help, man. Get some. Let me ask you a question. Since you asked the question, you're asking for to be specific. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think that healing is not possible? Where are you getting at, brother?
No, I was saying that there's definitely instances where you're going to need the help of a therapist, and you can have therapists help with and without yourself. I'm just saying that there are situations where you're going to have to only rely on yourself and that therapist to work through it. And then when it comes to relationships, especially when some of your issues are caused by personal relationships, you have to then engage in relationships in order to truly heal from those issues. So it's not a question of, necessarily is it right or wrong. It would be wrong if you jumped in a relationship and took your anger issue out on somebody. But it's not wrong to try and rebuild love with someone, because that's the only way you are going to be able to figure out if you truly healed.
No, I wouldn't disagree with that. Let me ask you, Bex. You making some faces over there. Go ahead.
Because I don't know, for me, I would much rather not do it while I'm in a relationship. And um, I don't know, I feel like if I'm not completely there yet, I may use that relationship as an excuse. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, I
I
don't
would
know.
like. Sorry, my bad.
No,
no,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna, ask her, like, if you are healing because you got cheated on, how do you actually heal from being cheated on by yourself if you don't actually try to heal from it with someone else?
Ooh, like I don't. Woo. So I think a lot of times people have the tendency of using people in a relationship with them as stepping stones for character development when you try to get over your issues using someone else. A lot of the times, like it's not it's not them, and you're always looking at them like, okay, what are you going to do that's better than my last ex so I can heal from what they did to me? Like, that's not fair. um so like I think that, like, maybe going through like a program like Steve said, or even if that's not like a financially available option for you, like being mindful or practicing mindfulness, or trying to find the things that trigger you so you understand your triggers, even though other people aren't responsible for your triggers, you are. Like, I think that those are good stepping stones that you can work on, like, by yourself, because, like, the other person in the relationship, unless they exclusively, like, said that, hey, this is something, like, I don't mind helping you with, or I don't mind working on this with you, like, I have the bandwidth to help you with this, like, it's not fair for you to project onto that person. Like, I just don't think that it is.
Um. Yeah. No. It's difficult, man, because hurt people is the old adage. But I was thinking about what Cincy was saying right now, and it's the self-reliance thing, or I get what you're saying. You have to be in the situation to be able to see how you're going to go through it. I think that comes with transparency, like in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I'm stepping into a situation with DaVinci and I got all types of trust issues, I gotta I did that with Mrs. Holdup. I told her, I was like, yo, these are the things I've struggled with. I promise you I have been working on them, but you know I gotta be honest with you, I still struggle with these things. I'm not asking you to augment your behavior. I'm just letting you know that I still struggle with these things. And it just got gradually easier. But it was a lot of what you were saying, Cincy. Like, I'm telling you, like, when I was alone for those 2 weeks, with a client, having to deal with the inner chatter, the inner monologue of trauma, I had to realize, like, yo, this is wild, some of the stuff that I'm thinking. Like, she's giving me no proof that she's this type of person. I've seen nothing like that. And it really did. This is going to borderline on spiritual. It really did almost come to me as an epiphany one day, how it was just removed. You know what I'm saying? When I was out in LA for 3 years for work, I would have thought I would have been bugging, but I was just like, oh, wait a minute. I trust her. But I think, to your point too, why I think therapy is good, and also good mentorship and good friendship as well, right? Having people, because you can't really explain trust. You ever notice that? It's one of those emotions, like, you can quantify it, you can give someone a definition, but you can't put that feeling in them if they've never been able to do it. But having people around you to remind you, like, hey, you're bugging out right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that helped me a great deal. You know what I'm saying? It helped me with my anger, my insecurities. So it was all those things. And I think being honest with your partner, and God willing, you have the type of partner that resonates with that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like DaVinci said, some people don't sign up for that shit, but you find the right person and it's like, God, you crazy as hell, Cincy. But I'm in it with you. Like, I'm in it with you because I see where that pain is existing. It was the same way for Mrs. Holdup. She had some angry, as Bex would say, she was minding her brown girl business for so many years. Then I came along and it was just kind of like, her stuff started coming up too. And we had to work with it together, and there was a lot of fights. Sometimes you can't be scared of the conflict either. Sometimes you're just going to spaz out on each other, but are you willing to come back and like correct it? I don't know.
Right.
It makes
And
sense.
and that's where I'm struggling with, is because I don't want to put a blanket statement over healing in a relationship as being wrong. I would say that there's a good amount of people who do it irresponsibly, because, you know, like you said, and like you guys have mentioned, you can take steps before you get into that relationship to work on yourself. And then when you get into it, you can be transparent. But you're not supposed to jump right into it, you know, but that's always going to be your final step. I mean, I've been through therapy, not for things like that, but the last step is always, now you have to throw yourself back in the real world and figure it out.
Yeah, put it to practice. You know, I get you. I get you. But for the two ladies here, man, let me ask you this now. Let's see if we can broaden the conversation a little bit. What is that healing process like for women? And don't give me the ethereal answer, like the examples that you've gone through, or have you not gone through that? And have you not been in a relationship that has compelled you to face your inner demons yet and go, hey, I got stuff I need to work on?
Bex, do you want to go first?
You can go first.
I think like a lot of the time, I have to differentiate like gaslighting myself, like versus like intellectualizing my feelings, versus like how much validity does like what I think have, like how much weight does it hold to my actual reality. A lot of the time I have to like I'll sit down and like on my feelings about a situation, and then I'll ask myself like a list of questions, like how did I contribute to this situation? How did the other person like, I just have to, like, personally for me, I have to work through it thing by thing, because there are a lot of situations where like I was right and people gaslighted me into thinking that I was wrong, or like the villain in the situation and everything like that. And I think because I have such a strong personality, people kind of shame me for taking up so much space sometimes. And so like I have to actually look at like my thoughts and feelings about a situation and everything like that, like who actually deserves access to my femininity, like who actually deserves access to my emotional bandwidth and all that kind of stuff like that. And I think that healing for me was very much realizing that like I deserve place, I deserve space. I have just as much right as anybody to be exactly who I am. I don't deserve to be like a stepping stool for somebody else's character development. I don't deserve to be somebody else's second option and everything like that. And especially as a Black woman, being hyper masculinized by a greater part of society, like, you know, being really strict about my boundaries and not feeling bad about it is very much a struggle, but like it's so very rewarding, because I end up with the kind of people I actually like to be around, that actually respect me. We have a commentary, we have great friendships, and so like healing for me was kind of realizing that the things that I put into place work, you know?
No, I get you. I get you. Mantis asked, should relations make us face our inner demons? I would say they're going to, unless you're the type of person that is somehow does not have any character defects that you would then impose or inflict. I mean, everyone up here can be honest, right? We all got character defects that we bring into a relationship. We all know when we're the one that's spazzing out, right? And the relationship brings that out of you. I'm not alone in this, right? We're going to be honest right now. We've all done this before, right? Like, you know when you're wrong, when you started that petty ass argument over that cookie, you knew you was wrong for that shit, right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, what are you doing? What do you ladies do to be accountable for not what the world has projected onto you, but what do you ladies do to be accountable?
What do we do personable to be accountable for our actions?
Yeah.
Apologize when you're wrong. Like it's not an admission that like you're a bad person if you apologize. Like you just slipped up, and it's not a huge thing to apologize when you're wrong, or like when you did something that was out of place, or when you violated. It's just as easy as saying that I am sorry and being mindful not to do the same thing again.
Now let me ask you a question, DaVinci. Let's use some I statements saying in therapy. Do you?
Okay.
Do you, DaVinci, in your last relationship, were you able to say sorry and be accountable for when you messed up, or did you give it a couple of days?
No, like immediately when somebody brought something to my attention and they were just like, hey, I feel like this when you do this, I was just like, that wasn't my intention. I understand that, like, you know, my intention doesn't really matter when like this is how you were feeling. My last boyfriend used an analogy a lot of the times, like if you spilled coffee on me and you burned me, it doesn't matter that you didn't mean to spill coffee on me. I'm still burned. And I think about that a lot. Yeah, so I don't think it's no thing to like I really don't, just to apologize and try to adjust your behavior so you don't do that again to that person in the future, especially if you value their presence in your life. I really don't.
What about you, Bex?
I agree with the whole apologize thing, but it's not that easy for me. Like when you asked her that question, like, would you do it right away? I would not do it right away. And that's I realize that about myself. I'm very emotional, whether it's, you know, me crying or me like lashing out or yelling or whatever. I'm a very emotional person. And one of those steps is me first getting my emotions in check. I have to get my emotions in check first, and then I can move on to the next step. I realize that it's not going to happen overnight, especially not with me. Like healing is not going to happen overnight with me. And just like I have to keep reminding myself that it's just not like a one and done type thing. Like in my eyes, healing never stops.
All right. So Bex is like, I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of days. I know I'm wrong, but
And I'm not saying it's right. It's not right at all. But that's one of the things that I do and that I am working on.
I listen. I'm vexed. Go ahead, DaVinci.
I think that might be like different from person to person, like what you prioritize about yourself, like emotional availability, like, you know, intellectual prowess, like things like that. Like I think that really I think it changes how you respond in situations like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'll be completely transparent right now, man. If I'm in a relationship and you made me mad, I got my ways about me. I'm like, oh, okay, emotional ties cut. I'm ghosting you. I will ghost you if we live in the same house. Like, okay. No, I'm not hungry.
Do you guys hold on to anger like when you get angry, or is it like a quick thing, like a flash, and then like you're more reasonable afterwards?
When I mess up, I'm quicker to say I'm sorry when I mess up, 100%, because it eats at me. You know what I'm saying? It eats at me that I did something, and I'll just be like, yo, especially if I know I did something egregious, and I was just like, yo, my bad. I shouldn't have raised my voice. I was in the moment. I'm really, really sorry about that. But if you do something to me and then you do anything but acknowledge what you did, we will go for as long as it takes you to apologize.
I think I just can't hold on to things for very long, like whether they're happy moments or sad moments or angry moments. It's kind of like a flash in the pan. It's just like, huh, that made me happy. Now on to the next thing.
What about
Or,
you?
oh, but that made me angry. It takes too much energy to stay angry at that. It doesn't really deserve it. And then keep going.
But it takes too much energy to stay happy too. See, I just got a glimpse of the relationship right there. Just in that little phrase right there, DaVinci, I got a glimpse of the relationship. Exactly.
It's just a lot of effort because I feel like a lot of the time, in order to be perceived as happy or jubilant or anything like that, like you have to be especially expressive. Like you can't just sit there like deadpan and be happy to yourself and everything like that, and communicate to the other person like with your facial features that like you're happy. And it's just so much energy to like keep smiling or acting really perky after like you're just like, huh, that made me happy. And you can't just like sit in that. I don't know if that made sense to anybody else, but it takes so much energy for me to be like extra perky just because I want you to know that I'm happy as well.
See, more. It's giving more. It's giving more. That's why since he's trying not to smirk over there, it's giving more. What about you, Cincy, man? How's that all work out for you, man? Do you apologize quick? Do you is it a man strike? What are you doing?
No, I'm not going on a man strike because I'm gonna have to take a breather. I'm gonna take a breather for sure, but I don't like situations to fall into the next day and the day after that and the day after that. So I'm gonna have to walk down the block a couple times, hit the block, and then I'm gonna come back. Whatever it was I was feeling, the peak of it is gonna be subsided by then, and that, at least for both of us, not just me. And then I feel like we could talk about whatever it is, like, and I don't know. That's just how I am. But the strikes, that'd be one thing that drives me absolutely crazy. If we can't resolve it, don't even have to be resolved. If we can't talk this issue out, I'm not about to hide somewhere in the house and not address it. That's just gonna really drive me crazy, and I don't want to. Crazy is great in the moment, not for long-lasting periods of time.
Yeah, I can take that, man. I'm just this is all I'm saying, right? If I'm wrong, expect your apology promptly. Like 20 minutes afterwards when you're ready to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something I'm guilty of. I try to say, sorry, you're not ready, I'll come back. But if you do something to me and you come back with some of that, well, I don't understand why I have to apologize. I'm like, fuck you just say? You don't understand why you don't have to apologize. And that's one of my character defects where it's like being indignant. You know what I'm saying? When people do something to wrong me and I'm like, I'm going to give you 3 chances. And I usually do that. I'm like, 3 chances to make it right. If by the 3rd time you're not well on your way to accountability, then it's war. Like we're beefing. And when I say we're beefing, like I'm not letting it go because this is not going to be one of those things where like, it might be okay to disagree, agree to disagree. Like, yeah, we can do that when I do something to you next time. But if you do something to me, you better be ready to say sorry. Or what, you think I'm emotionally stunted? Am I immature? Do I expect too much of people to be accountable for their behaviors?
I don't know. You sound like the California legal system.
Like the California legal system.
3 strikes, you're fucking out. Are we playing baseball or are we in a relationship?
Yeah, no, but see, it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say that, but I learned. I know you ain't messing around, motherfucker. But here's the thing. You know what I learned in therapy, man? I used to let people get away with shit in the name of being pseudo-spiritual. Spiritualize things away. Let them walk all over me. And then I was like, wait, what part of the game is that? It's one thing to turn the other cheek, but you got to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to. Go ahead.
I think we were talking about this in a past episode, how like people only want to talk about their emotions in the heat of a conversation. Like you can't just be having like a fine day and talk about your emotions to your partner and how like that's irritating in the middle of a fight. Like I don't want to talk about how you feel now. Like we had plenty of opportunities to talk about like your emotional availability and bandwidth while we were cool, but you want to bring that up to like detract from the topic of what's going on right now, and that's upsetting.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, we were talking about that in regards to men facing some of the same issues, but I think relationally, like the reason I love this topic that Bex picked, and Bex, I think they removed your homegirl's page, by the way. I just clicked on it a few times and it said gave me the 404 error, like page not found. But it looks like other parts are working. It really is. It's a complicated thing, man, because I think people have different understandings of what healing means. You know what I'm saying? And like some people, I'm gonna be real with you, man. This is where I really bang on self-help shit, man. Some people have no idea that healing means to be rejuvenated, restored, right? There can be a scar, but it has, for the most part, healed. And I see people spend their entire adult life reading self-help books, and they haven't come any closer to healing than when the trauma started. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still stuck in that same pain. You brought up someone I sent you from the Lapeef network, Bex, and then we were talking. I'm not gonna shout her name out, but you're like, damn, it's a damn shame. She's been sitting in that energy for so long. Mm-hmm. It probably never occurred to her that, you might need to do some introspective work, my sister. I don't know. Anybody else want to heal? I know we're waiting on the community to heal. We in the healing process in the community. What are you laughing, man?
Because I knew it was coming. I was waiting.
We over here healing. 70 years into the healing process. We're going to get there in about 120. All right. Y'all ready for the next topic? Berlin's done healing. He don't believe in that healing shit. I can see Berlin straight up looking at a woman being like, go heal on your own personal time. So here's the showrunner that I made. I don't know why I picked this. I knew it was a bad idea when I picked it, but it's too late to change it now. I'm going to throw it to the audience. So this woman you see on the screen here is going to say some things. She's responsible to her own voice. Enjoy. Oh, wait. What's unmuted?
Confident, that's who they run to, the bigger girl. When the men are not financially confident, that's who they run to, the bigger girls. Because most big girls are going to have good credit, have some money, and be able to help take care of them.
And cook.
Bigger woman says, help. Smaller woman says, oh, I have to carry that load. Oh, I got to take care of her. Bigger woman says, she going to help me. She going to put this load over her back. So
because that's what she has to do to keep a man, to maintain a man.
To make up for it.
Yeah.
So the man, again, I want to just sacrifice, step up, be by yourself for some time, get your money right. I'll just go get a big girl. She'll help me.
Fellas.
All right. Do I need to run that back, or do we get the gist of it? Essentially, what this woman is saying is that men choose bigger women because they will be financially responsible and help them out, be a little bit more giving with their money, giving with their time. She's alluding to the fact that guys go after big girls because they'll get the bill. They'll pay the bill. They'll hit you off with a little haircut money in the morning. Break you off with some walking change. What do y'all think?
Why is there any more of that? Like, is that?
Yeah, I can't find the original video.
As far as her talking.
As far as her talking, let me see if I can find.
Okay, but I just have a question. I'm wondering, why is she making it seem like it's just a big girl issue? Like, these type of men don't go after. It doesn't matter if you're big or whatever. Like, if they see you as low hanging fruit and you have low self-esteem, they're gonna do the same. Like, why is she making it like a big girl thing?
Okay, so you're gonna make me jump out the window on this one. So essentially, this might be in the inner workings of some men's circles. What she's pointing out is the behavior of some men that will constantly be living off of bigger women. And she pointed out something that, the commentator, the guy who's talking about in the video, talks about as well that there are guys that prey on bigger women with low self-esteem, and it seems like they might be, and I don't even think that's only what she's alluding to. I think she's saying that is what a big woman has to do, and accepts that's what she's going to have to do to have a man that might be quote unquote out of her league. Because I assume they're talking about guys that would be out of her league but broke. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds predatory as fuck. And end of it.
Is it predatory on the big woman's side as well? Because what if she's the one going out looking for these broke dudes? She knows these dudes are broke, and she's like, I got money. How's that different than the fat rich man going after the poor skinny girl?
That's predatory too. Did you think my answer would be different?
Vicky, you wanted to get into it. I know. Well, what does everyone think? Are guys going after bigger women because they bring some type of financial security? They're more willing to drop cash. Chat, let me know what you think. What were your initial thoughts just hearing that, Vicky?
It's disgusting, and honestly, like, I hate to admit that, like, that's true. At least I do, like, but I think what Bex was saying was very true as well, because it's not just big women that they go after, like the hobosexuals, the ones that want to live with you and everything like that. Like, I feel like hobosexuals.
Homosexual. I like it.
I feel like it's very much true. Like, I think that they think that bigger women will have lower standards because they're not the beauty standards, and so, like, they will think that they're less desirable, so they have to take whatever is given to them, because there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to come at you and be like, oh, I want to take you on a date, oh, I want to show you some effort, and things like that. And I hate to admit that that's partially true, but, like, big women are out here living this year. Like, they're out here living for the past couple of years. Like, they look immaculate. They're doing a great job and everything like that. And they're not as insecure, or at least, like, the older ones. Like, I know when you're a little younger, like maybe 18, 19, 20, 21, as a bigger woman, it's probably easier to prey on you because you've probably been told, like, your entire life that, like, oh, like, you're not as pretty as thinner people. Oh, you're, like, the healthcare system told you don't matter. Anytime you go to a doctor, like, well, maybe if you just lose some weight, doc, I have a broken heart. Maybe if you lose some weight, that'll help. Like, you know, so, like, a lot of the times bigger women are used to being swept under the rug by society. And so, like, that's why maybe I can think that it's linear thinking to men, like, oh, since she already gets treated like shit, if I show up and I treat her a little good, like, then she'll take that. But I just think that that's so predatory.
I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from. I'm not disagreeing with any of that, man. I find it hard to believe that no one has come across this topic before. Like, that's the part I'm struggling with right now, man. And it's like, I know you just said big women out here living their best life right now, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's predatory on both sides of the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a big woman can step into the big man stature, and I'm not saying you disagree with me, DaVinci, by the way, but if both parties are willing now, right, and if that's what both parties are bringing to the table, you know, is it necessarily a bad thing? Have they not just come to some societal understanding? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if big women are like, I got the money, so I'm paying. I got you, babe.
No,
you know? Like,
absolutely not. Like, women, there are a lot of there are a lot of women who think that you actually might like them or not be fetishizing them because they think that they look good. They think that, like, why wouldn't you like me? Like, I have an amazing personality. Like, you know, my financials line up. My life is in order. Like, you know, I'm doing everything that everybody says is supposed to be attractive in a partner, like why would they automatically assume that, oh, this guy is just hitting on me because he wants to be a homosexual? Why would you automatically assume something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Wait, I've chimed in enough. Sensi Bex, what are your thoughts? Just on the video, what she's saying, what do you
got? Just on the video, I could see where that works both ways, but I felt like the video was a little, like both of them said, gross, because if we're going to talk about men who don't have shit searching for women, it's that, like Beck said, that doesn't just apply to big women. They're going to go after whichever woman isn't confident enough to see past the fact that they have an ulterior motive here. So I highly disagree with that part. But I also understand where you're coming from. And if we watch the whole video, some of the stuff the rest of them said about it, where you're kind of saying, are they both doing the same thing here? And if that's the case, then I feel like it's a lot like the conversation that Berlin's complaining we're not having right now, where we've talked about, women do use men for money, but typically the woman ends up with a man that's looking for that woman that's not bringing anything but herself, her body to the table. So it balances it out. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and there's definitely instances where it is wrong. But if they're doing that on an equal playing field and they end up with each other, I'm not sure I see the issue. I just don't like the point in the very beginning of the video where that lady was clearly talking about men who have nothing pursuing only big women, because that takes away so much from bigger women that, to me, that was just a disgusting statement.
Go ahead, Bex.
To me, that was like the first thing that triggered me, and I'm trying my best not to be like upset at her, but it kind of threw me off. Like, okay, like she's kind of like going against girl code, and in a way she was kind of presenting herself to be like the better option, you know what I mean? And all skinny women aren't confident, and all plus size women don't have low self-esteem. So I don't know. She was just making me. She made me feel funny.
Wait, what's the girl code on this, Bex?
I mean, I felt like she was just like kind of dragging other females in the presence of men, and that just didn't sit well with me. Maybe it's just me.
Wait, is that the girl code? Right. Don't drag other women in the presence of men.
No, it was more like she was dragging, like Beck said, she was dragging other women in an attempt to make herself seem like the more desirable option, kind of thing, like a very pick-me-ish type thing. Like, did they pick you yet? Damn.
That's the term right there. It was giving pick-me vibes.
Yeah, let me stir the pot here a little bit. So wait, let me get this. Let me see if I got it straight here. So there's a girl code that says you can't drag women in front of men. Is that what you just said?
What we just said. No, that's not what we just said.
No, that's what Beck said. Beck,
that is what I said. Maybe I shouldn't say girl code as it's like a universal rule type thing. But that's something that I wouldn't do. And it made me feel funny, like watching her do that. I wouldn't do that.
I'm trying to find the whole context for the video, and I've been searching for it. No one linked her into the thing. So you guys are saying that this is pick me behavior, that she's putting women down to somehow make herself look good as the better option, because a man would have to already come correct to get to her because she's a skinny woman.
I think that's exactly what she's doing.
Kind of like that, and maybe that wasn't her intention. Like maybe she was trying to like state a point that, like, in her experience, she's noticed that the homosexuals gravitate towards fat women because they feel like they will support them because that's what they have to do. And I don't think that that's like a false statement. How could I? Because that's her experience, you know. But like it was giving very, very much like, but I'm not fat and I've got my shit together and I would never accept that. Like, bitch, damn, like, okay.
Well, wait, hold on for a second. Can I say something, man? I'm just going to jump out the window here. And I just, for the historical record on June 22nd, 2022, this is not a new concept, right? And I've heard a lot of people in the community and outside of the community espouse the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's even been done to the point where it's like, oh, a big girl going to take care of you. This can't be the first time y'all are hearing this, especially not coming out of the community. Like, I've heard this from my southern relatives. I've heard it from the Midwestern people. They're like, oh, big girl gonna cook for you. Big girl gonna be there for you. You ain't never heard that before?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it plenty of times, but I've heard it plenty of times, but the difference between saying that and assigning them the worst of the worst men is completely different. Because if you say, oh, big girl can cook for you, that's a redeeming quality. She should be able to get any men from that. Like, you just automatically assign them to a fucking, what you call them, a hobosexual. Like, nah, that's offensive to me to just assign them like that. That's nah.
I mean, it's interesting to me, right? Because the nerve that she's striking, though, is like, I just thought about it as a dude, man. Like, as a guy, I'm like, man, have I ever lived off of a woman before? And I'm like, no, I can't think I have. Most of the broads I was with before Mrs. Holdup were bums, straight bums. They ain't had nothing to offer the world. I'm surprised that they got tickets to wake up in the morning. But to be honest with you, like, what's really interesting about what she said is the capital. Like the capital agreement, like the symbiotic relationship. That's what threw me off. I'm like, well, man, is there an agreement going on? I don't know if you guys know this. Lizzo caught some a little bit of smoke. Not that she cares, because she's with a gentleman now. I believe he's a up and coming comedian, right? Younger, not younger guy, but younger to me. And people were saying she's paying for the D. I'm like, what? I'm like, is she got a male escort? That's her business if she does. But I'm like, how's she paying for the D? And the assertion was that there's no way that this basically unknown comedian is with Lizzo for her. Do you guys think that's kind of similar to what this woman's saying right now? Is my mic working? Test. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to process what you just said.
So which part?
All of it.
Okay. So let me do it again. Lizzo caught some smoke on the internet from the usual places that Lizzo catches smoke from, and she's with a new guy, right? Young guy, up and coming comedian, and people said that Lizzo is paying for the D, and they're asserting that Lizzo is paying for the D the same way guys who are bigger pay for the P, and that there's no way that this guy is with Lizzo because he enjoys her. He enjoys her company. It's because of the capital that he can get off of her. Do you think that's the same thing as what this woman's saying right now?
Not really. Maybe a little bit though. I think that it's outlandish to assume automatically right off the bat that nobody could be interested in her or nobody could find her like dazzling or amazing. Like that's kind of like a little bit a while back where there was like something with like her versus like Taylor Swift and like Harry Styles or some shit like that. And people were just like, well, why would they choose to hang out with Lizzo instead of the other person? It's because they automatically assume that like you're undesirable because you're not the beauty standard. Like, why else would you automatically jump from like, oh, like there's no reason that this guy could possibly ever be attracted to her just because you wouldn't be attracted to her. Like maybe he thinks that she's nice. Maybe I was just watching something on TikTok where this girl posted herself and her husband, and she's a bigger lady, and her husband is snatched, like big muscles, looks great, full beard, no patches,
No patches,
nice hair, everything, like looks straight out of like a Vogue magazine. That man does, and people are just like, that's not your husband. There must be something wrong with him. He must have a mental illness. There's no, like, why is it so hard for you to assume that he's married to her because he likes her? Like, why is that outrageous? Why is that crazy?
You know what? I've been saying this since the days of the great overweight lover. Shout out, rest in peace, Heavy D. You guys remember Heavy D, the overweight lover Heavy D? You might be too young to know who that is. He's a rapper from back in the day. And people would get Heavy D the smoke because they would say that the only reason that girls were into him was because he was a successful rapper. Same thing, what's this fool's name, man? I can't remember right now. It was another rapper from that era, big guy, man. And all the ladies, always up in the videos, always traveling around. Look at Biggie Smalls. Would women have been checking for Biggie? You think women were really checking for Biggie? He said he was ashy. But now, however, he say coochie down to spot. And like, that's the thing. Like, people would openly roast Biggie and say there's no way he would get anything. You think it's different, or? And I'm just trying to keep the conversation going here. Y'all look highly offended. This is why I didn't want to play this video last week, man. We gotta look. We're gonna be social commentators, man. We can be offended, but we gotta talk about this shit on the internet, man. Because I'm telling you right now, if this was a woman up here saying this about Biggie, I don't know if people would be giving it strong reactions. I've seen these big boys get tore up in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see this. I don't see this. And I'm not for misusing and abusing bigger women. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, is it the same?
I truly don't. I truly don't think so. And if you want to talk about bigger men, like some of the most hateful people towards bigger women are big men, bro. Like,
wait. Don't do that. Don't do that, because we're not talking about hateful, fat, lonely men sitting on the internet. I'm talking about the overweight lover Heavy D. Those big boys with those big hearts. You know who I'm talking about. These big men get tore up whenever someone sees a woman with them. They're like, damn, is she going to die underneath him? Bex, you know what I'm talking about.
And that's wrong too, bro. And that's wrong too. And I don't even know what y'all got against the niggas with titties. I love them. Like, they're great.
Wait, it's no N-word Juneteenth. Come on, you're supposed to be on this thing with me and Sensi. Come on now.
I never agreed to that. I never agreed to that.
Since you ain't gonna jump out the window with me, you ain't seen these big boys get tearing up in the street, man. Come on, man.
I'm from me and you, but I've also seen them bag hella women because they're super charismatic. Like,
wait, did you say for me and you? Are you excusing women from this? Are you saying that these women don't be tearing these dudes up?
No. What I'm saying with my own personal eyes, the people that hate on big dudes the most, in my own experience, is me and you. And the people,
I never throw my big boys. Okay. I never throw.
Well, think about me and you being a group of men, his boys.
No. If I don't have to, if y'all can't be tied into universal behavior,
that's what I'm saying. I've seen plenty of big men. Retract the last statement. I've seen plenty of big men get very beautiful women off the strength of their charisma.
Okay.
So yes, if you're going to discount them just because they're big, it's the same.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. I know you're a highly intellectual and elevated and evolved man. I know that. I'm not being facetious. I'm asking you and Bex. And Bex, I'm looking you dead in your eyes right now, Bex. You stop pretending. You telling me these women don't be tearing these big boys up in the street, growing up in the community? Come on, Bex, keep it a buck.
I'm keeping it a buck.
I know.
And from my personal experience, no.
Okay, I can't be on this show anymore. I can't be on this show anymore. You people refuse. You know what the problem is? Y'all got too many codes. You got girl code, you got community code. I'm out here being a buck, keeping it all honest, man. I've seen these big boys get tore up and don't nobody come to their defense, man. You telling me motherfuckers nobody come to their defense?
Okay, maybe like when I was in high school, like back in the day, but now as an adult, no. The most people that I see do
Never.
that,
Like,
men, is other men. I love me
period.
a hefty, chunky, big nigga. I love me.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Yo, you know what? I'm not going to discount what y'all are personally doing, but here's the problem, right? Maybe I've taken for granted that y'all have put on blinders. So what I'm going to have to do now is put together the video amalgamation because people. Yo, watch your mouth, son. Yo, here's the thing. People be coming at these big boys. I'm like, I'm not even like defending what this woman said. I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen people do that to the big boys. So y'all are upset, justifiably so, right? This woman said some crazy shit here, but is it untrue is what I've been trying to figure out. So I've been in these internet streets trying to find examples of, celebrity plus size women and their spouses and seeing how people respond to it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, just the commentary on these videos, I have not found one person that wasn't like, yeah, I've heard of this before. Like, is this a new phenomenon? What are we talking about here?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like everyone that's commentated on this, it's like a dirty kept secret. They've been like, yeah, I've heard of this, I've seen it before, and it's like that's why I was surprised that it was such a big reaction. I'm like, yo, this is like American zeitgeist right here.
Man, to me, regular people hating on the internet of shit that they can't have in their own actual life. That's all that is to me.
But is it just regular people on the internet? Are we pretending like this has not been like something that people have been saying for years? Like this is a part of
what you're trying, in my experience, what you're trying to do is compare middle school fat jokes to how people think as adults.
No. I'm not comparing middle school fat jokes. No, my brother. I'm comparing stuff that you've heard. You know what I'm saying? Now,
in middle school when they were making fat jokes, not as an adult.
My guy, you just admitted to the fact that the cooking, big girl will cook for you. This falls in line with that. Why you assume because she's big, she's gonna cook for you? Why you can't cook for her?
My God, well, you're talking to the wrong person because all the girls I cook for get big because
you switched it up. You admitted to that thinking before, right? And I'm not saying it's on you. I'm not saying that you think this way. I'm saying we all have heard it though. No. Why is this like brand new? So now she's a pick me? Like that one woman's a pick me, or is the culture pick me with this shit?
She a pick me.
Man, y'all really gonna do it. I can't believe it, man. Y'all really gonna do it right now. I see why Berlin jumped out of here early, man. Y'all really gonna do it.
Berlin hopped out of here earlier because he hates hearing anything about feminism. But like that's why he hopped out of here, first of all. But second of all, like I understand that it's not a new concept. Like I understand that this is something that does happen and it is predatory if that's the question that you're asking. But like us being able to confront it now, like doesn't like it needed to happen, or us talking about it, like it eventually needed to happen. It eventually needed to be brought to like the forefront of people's minds. And people hate anything having to do with like fat phobia or bringing it up because it's kind of just something that we just don't talk about. It is the blatant fat phobia everywhere.
All right, thank you. Now we can actually get into an honest conversation. So what is fat phobia exactly?
Do you want a definition or do you want like my personal little spiel on?
No, I know what the term phobia means, and I know the Latin of it. I'm saying, where do we get that from? What is being considered phobia? Because phobia is an inherent fear or prejudice. So are you saying that people are prejudiced against fat people, or that they have a fear of bigger people?
I'm saying that they have a bias against them and that they don't. Like they say that it's about health and everything like that, but they don't really care about health. Otherwise, when your skinny friend who downs like 5 burgers, drinks nothing but Red Bulls, eats nothing but hot chips and everything like that, you will be coming with them with the same heat, but you don't. Nobody does. They assume just because you are thin or like quote unquote you have a high metabolism, that like you're physically desirable. But the second that it comes to talking about a bigger person or somebody who doesn't necessarily have a higher metabolism, you want to make it all about health. It's not about health. Like you just like the sight of them offends you because you know that that's not the beauty standard. And like, how dare they come out here and dress the way they do or live the way they live and they're happy with it. Like, how dare you like do something that I'm not able to do, and I'm closer to the beauty standard than you are. That's what I feel like. Because like, just for the record, fat phobia is a weight bias, sometimes also called weight stigma, and it describes negative attitudes and stereotypes surrounding and attached to larger bodies. And it's the thought that like being bigger is abnormal or irrational, and it's a fear of being fat. It's a fear of being around fat people. That's why you have all this commentary around like how they look, how they smell, what they wear. Like, why should or shouldn't they be wearing that? It's fat phobia.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, just to keep the conversation like going forward. So what you're saying is that it's not really that people care about these people's health issues, but we would acknowledge that there are health issues associated with it. I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly, right? Like we would acknowledge that there are health issues associated with being obese, right?
Yes, of course.
Without saying skinny people don't have their own health issues. I categorically understand that if my friend has not put on weight in a year and their teeth are decaying, then I know exactly what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trained to look for these things. So that's what you're saying. Okay. This is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I want the conversation to go to this place because it's easy to just say someone's a pick-me, right? But are we addressing the cultural issue? Because I don't think that everyone that says something about someone's weight is fat phobic. Right. But I do believe that there are people who are, just as you said, DaVinci, can't stand the thought of big people. I agree with that assessment. Now we can get honest with each other. Now, geez, damn, man.
Because like, if we want to keep it 110 percent, completely honest, there are people with hypo and hyper thyroidism, and like when why can't I think? Like, in one of these conditions, it doesn't matter how much you work out. Like there have been bigger women in my life that healthier than me would go to the gym like multiple times a week, spend hours there just working on that shit, and they couldn't get any smaller. Like, and it would just deteriorate their mental health because they were doing more than all of the people around them and still couldn't get to a place that made them happy with their body. Like, right. If you want to talk about that, like, people don't have any leniency for any of that. Like, they just see big body.
Right. Like they assume that they're lazy, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Let me ask, because the reason why this is interesting, you weren't on the show at this time, DaVinci, but about, I don't know what, maybe 6 weeks ago, I want to say it was, not that I just looked it up or anything, Bex brought up a very similar subject, right? And then she promptly ditched Cincy and I and left us up here to discuss it, right? You remember the night I'm talking about, Cincy? Because Bex ain't going to be honest right now, but I know you are my spiritual brother.
The most uncomfortable night in Doe Dynamics history. I think it was only the second night, too.
And here's the crazy part about it, right? Cincy and I verbatim acknowledged everything you said, DaVinci. I'm like, there are people with health issues. There are people that I understand have thyroid issues. There are people who have inner lining problems. And there's a plethora of reasons to be obese. We acknowledge all those things. But I am also of the thinking that if a person comes to me and they bring their concerns about their weight to me, I ask them the question like, hey, what level of support are you looking for right now? Because I don't want to get put in a position where it's like you're fat phobic or you don't take me. I'm like, well, I didn't ask you to come diet with me. You asked me for help. You know what I'm saying? And that's different. And I think if we're all just being honest, if we're just being honest for a second here, is it everyone who's trying to have a commentary on this? Is everyone hating on bigger people? Or are there some people who are just like, hey, I worry about my obese mother? Like, is there a distinction in your minds?
Yes, there is. Like, if you commonly worry about your thin friends as much as you worry about your thick friends, then I could probably reason with you. I could probably see that this is genuine concern, but so very often in these conversations, it's not genuine concern for those people. You don't have commentary about the diets of your thin friends. You just like, oh man, I saw whoever eating a cheeseburger. She don't need to be eating that. Like, she's already big and everything like that, but you don't say anything about your thin friend who drinks nothing but Red Bulls and eats nothing but fat foods, like fast food, you know?
No, I get you. I maybe it's just like where I was raised, man. The skinny people in my community got it too. They were like, yo, you need to go eat a sandwich. Girl, you about to waste away. Girl, you need to put on some weight. Man, you probably need to have babies as soon as possible. Like that type of shit. And I get what you're saying, but I don't think a person who actually cares about someone has to necessarily quantify it with, hey, I also worry about my skinny friend. Like, if Cincy is at like 450, do I have to care about how, I don't know, some other skinny fool's doing, or do I just care about my brother Cincy and be like, hey man, is everything good? Like, we recognize that some weight gain is due to food addictions, right, which is more problematic in our community. So why do I need to quantify it with being worried about the skinny guy when it's like those consequences are entirely different? I'm worried about my guy. Like, hey brother, you put on some weight, are you good, my brother? Like,
those situations are entirely different. Like, you worrying about a friend that is close to you is entirely different than making commentary on the internet about fat people, like in general.
Well,
like, you have no relation to.
Go ahead. Delay.
I'm sorry, say again.
No, there's a delay. Go ahead.
Like, you have no relation to those people. Like, you're making comments on their weight, not knowing whether or not like they're happy with themselves, not knowing whether or not they have any physical ailments or anything like that. Those situations are completely different. Like, it's easy to look at my sister and like her being my sister and me like knowing her for a while, knowing her eating habits, seeing that something is wrong because she starts eating more or starts eating less, versus like me just making unprompted commentary on the internet about people's size. Those situations are completely different.
And yeah, and I was trying to make those distinctions, but often, like when Cincy and I got left up here on this panel by ourselves for fucking 2 hours talking about this shit, people kept hearing that we were putting Cincy, am I bugging? Am I lying? People kept hearing, no matter how we quantified it, that we were the guys making commentary about plus size people. And I was like, yo, I don't care what the rest of America does, but if you're in my circle and I'm concerned about you, then I'm going to come to you correctly and be like, yo. Or if you come to me, Cincy, am I lying? Am I crazy? You remember that night?
Yeah, no, that happened to us the whole night. The whole night. Thank you, Bex.
And I completely understand that. Truly, I do, because so much of the commentary around weight is like people just making unprompted assumptions about like people's health. And so like I can see where people might not have thought that you were coming from a genuine place. Like, and also like I really don't want to shield people from accountability as well. I know that sometimes like when talking about weight, people can get defensive. Like I understand that too entirely. So I really do think that it matters what kind of relationship that you have with this person to be able to make a statement about their weight or stature.
I think this ties in amazingly to Bex's topic. I would love to hear from Bex and Cincy about the healing, though, because here's the thing that I see happen a lot, right? How can you have a conversation or receive anything from anyone if you have not addressed the fact that everything sounds offensive to you, no matter the way it's laid out? And that happens in relationships. I'm so fucking good, Cincy. I see you nodding your head. That happens in relationships too. It's like, that's a part of the healing. How can you even know when someone's being critical of you or showing concern, right? If all you hear is the offensive statement when there is no offense there. What do you think? You weren't there that night, Beck, so you know, I know this is going to be hard for you to quantify when me and Cynthia are up here everything like 46 times. But what do you think? How can you be offended if someone's saying it in every way possible the exact opposite of what the definition of offense means?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you know, like we said with everything, you're gonna have to talk to somebody because you don't have many options. I mean, if every time someone talks to you, you get offended, whether it's because you feel like they're gonna fat shame you or making assumptions about your weight or some other topic, at some point that becomes your own personal issue. The issue of getting offended is probably for a lot of people more easily correctable than the weight issue itself.
Right.
So I mean, you're gonna have to seek help for one or the other. You're gonna have to make up your mind, or you could just live miserable. You know, I guess that's the other option.
Right. What do you think, Bex?
I want to shout out my sister in the chat, my sister Yoka.
Was that your sister?
I think it depends on the person. I mean, overweight people know that they're overweight, and if they have the intent to not be overweight anymore, then I don't know. Like I guess they're gonna take what you're saying in a different way compared to a person who just like doesn't give a fuck. Does that make any sense? Am I making any sense?
Say it one more time. Like I think I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying, but this is why okay. Let me see if I got this straight. So because you know I'm slow. I got autism. I'm stupid. Shout out to Dumbing Out. Are you is the general understanding that unless you are experiencing it or invited into the conversation, you're not allowed to say anything? Is that applicable? Is that what we're saying right now, or
are you walking up to strangers and telling them how overweight they are?
No, I got put on the panel when I was talking about the subject, and no matter how I quantified it or qualified it, that this is not an attack. This is a topic, and I will express concern to people who I am close with, or if they come to me, I will be there to support them. But even in that, people didn't hear what was being said. They heard what they wanted to be offended by. For instance, a statement you said about someone being overweight, knowing that they're overweight. That night, Cynthia and I were just talking about supporting our friends who come to us. And no matter how we rephrased that, it was always like, well, we don't need to be reminded. I'm like, well, obviously you're not listening to the conversation because we're talking about supporting people that have come to us. And then I tried to switch, and I was like, okay, well, let's try this. If I'm the child of an obese person, would you set parameters on a child not to say something to their obese parent out of concern? Because if your dad struggled with alcoholism, you wouldn't make the same parameters. Everyone would be ready to set the intervention up, even though there's a better chance of you dying from obesity quicker.
What was the topic for that night? I can't remember.
You made the topic. You better remember.
I know, but I can't remember what it was. What was it?
I don't know. Me and Cynthia are still traumatized. We're still in therapy. That's why we started Dumbing Out.
You know what? I actually think it wasn't this exact topic we're talking about, or we were on a night, but it was very, very similar to it.
Yeah. Now this woman jumped out the window. I'm not defending her statements. I just wanted to know if like this was something that people would be willing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this an unspoken agreement that that's out there? Like, because if big people are living their best life and the bigger women are living their best life, then this shouldn't be a problem then, right? Like if she wants to pay to play, that's on her, right?
Are we talking about Lizzo?
I don't give a fuck about her, man. I'm talking about the topic this lady brought up. If the bigger woman is like, yeah, I pay his bills, all that. right? Then it's not a problem then, right?
If that's what she want to do.
As long as it's just not someone pointing it out.
No, I mean, I never said it was an issue with it pointing it out, but I don't know. Like the platform was just bothering me, and the way that she was just presenting it and presenting herself bothered me.
Well, I mean, we need more views. We can start spamming her, going into her lives. I'll find her. We'll just get at her. Yeah, we'll come at her if you want to. But I thought it was an interesting topic. I didn't want to talk about this. I actually struck it from the last episode. I felt the vibe. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this to myself 2 times in a row. I remember what happened the last time, and as we're talking about it now, I was like, yeah, it's just as bad as it was last time, But at least we were able to get into a real conversation about it, I say this: if you're a bigger person and your health is okay with you and your primary physician, and even if your health isn't okay, if the answer to that is you do you and I won't worry about you, just don't bring it on to my lawn, right? I don't want to see no crying or anything if your heart gives out. You know what I'm saying? But if you're happy with that, fine. If you're a bigger woman and you okay with the what did you call it? The hobo sexuals, if that's your thing, fine. But if you're a predator and you're preying on big women or vice versa, that's on you. Big Steve is tapping out on this shit, man. Y'all do what y'all want and go to hell the way y'all want to, man. Eat your fried chicken and your fucking air fried chicken, and y'all can stay out my business too, and I'll stay out yours. How about that?
Are you dogging on the air fryer too?
No, I love the air fryer. I think it's the greatest invention. It's taking us to the next level. I mean, it doesn't really fry chicken. It kind of makes chicken jerky, which I'm okay with.
Because he is so triggered and it's funny.
Since you triggered right now, man?
I am.
And look, Drinky's not even talking anymore. The mere thought of air fried chicken is just like, I say we get air fried chicken on the menu, right? Take fried chicken off, and let's get a Hennessy Light on the menu, right? And let's get Hennessy Light.
Oh, I wasn't talking because I made a Capri's.
Hennessy Light. Who's with me?
Light.
You know how they got Coke Light and shit like that? I'm gonna make the white version of Hennessy. Not the good Hennessy from
like diet,
like Hennessy Light, like
Henny?
like a spritzer.
Oh my God, no.
Why are you so mad, man? Like I'm talking bad about your family or anything like that. Let's get the hell out of here, man. You people, let's get to the after show room, man. As usual, it's dope dynamics, awkward dynamics. Your man Cincy Productions. I'll let him take us out of here, man. I'm turning my camera off. I can't stand y'all.
All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for coming in tonight. It has been another wonderful, if somewhat uncomfortable show of dope dynamics. I hope everybody tomorrow night tunes in for Power Love Latinas, and then on after that, Request Box with your new hosts, Mr. DJ Cincy Star, and then again on Friday nights for Booty Poppin' Shakin'. Check out DT Dub, even though he's emotionally unstable, maybe psychologically unstable too, on YouTube. We got Enough Said Radio. Nah, for real, he's dope. I'm fucking with him. I hope he hears this. And we're still waiting for a drop date for Bex's new show.
Yes, actually, Bex and I are going to talk once we get into the green room. We got to get trying to get that, that mind my black girl business money. I mean, I'm trying to support black women to make me money. I mean, wait.
If you really love yourself, knock the air fryer off the countertop.
Remember, it ain't pimping, it's organizing. I coordinate shit for you. Good night, y'all. Peace.